When my mother was alive, we would return to Boston every couple of months to celebrate her birthday, or my birthday, or Carrie's birthday, or Thanksgiving, or Christmas. Now we have no more reason to go there again.
What about your brother?
Jonathan? He lives in Rhode Island. That doesn't appeal to me at all. Likewise, with rich debt we have no business going to Tulsa again. What about Los Angeles? Laura is there and so are the Hudson family. Maybe we can look them up. I have no interest in reconnecting with Laura or her mother. And I'm not a big fan of the Hudson family and their music.
Really? What's wrong with them?
I really don't care where we go. I just don't want to stay in this tiny town all year.
I agree. What about going to Miami to visit my father? This is much harder than I thought it would be. Why not settle this issue by playing a game? The winner of the game decides where we go. What game shall we play? Chess? Monopoly? Sorry. Uno. Poker? It must be a game that can be played quickly, so Monopoly, chess, and sorry are out. Let's do poker. Okay, I have a full house. You, Debbie? I have only 3 of a kind. Then that means Carrie wins. So where are we going? Florida, to see my father and his family. Martin, would you mind if we come to Miami to visit you? Carrie suggested it.
I'd love to see her again.
Carrie, when your father came here, you looked different. Are you going to change yourself back before we see him again? No. He should like me regardless of how I look. Okay, I will send him a pic of you as you are now. Oh, I got a reply. He says you look like one of his favorite rock stars in her youth, Lizzie Borden. So he and I have that in common. Great. Another message from him. Lizzie actually lives in Miami too. And this is what she looks like now. Wow. She looks so old. She was popular in the 1970s. She prefers to avoid the spotlight now. But maybe you can still see her. Hello, Jessica Sims. Welcome to Miami. Martin is still working at the clinic, but he sent me to make sure you all would have no trouble getting settled here. Oh, and you can call me Darla. That's my middle name. Thank you. Considering that I don't even have a middle name, that is most convenient. And where is Carrie? I am right here, Mrs. Lessie. Oh, sorry, I didn't recognize you. Yeah, I gave myself a makeover again. Remember when I told you about my suicide attempt? Changing my looks was part of the process of recovering to improve my self-esteem, but recently I changed myself back because I realized my self-esteem shouldn't be based on my look so much as my character traits. Anyway, this is my love partner, Debbie Smith. Debbie, this is my father's wife, Jessica Darla Lessie. A pleasure to meet you, Mrs. Lessie.
Welcome, Carrie. So this is your girlfriend?
We prefer the term love partner because it is both gender inclusive and has no reference to age or marital status, so it has universal appeal. Carrie and I have gone far beyond a mere dating relationship. We actually want to get married when we are old enough. She and I have been through a lot together.
Hello, and thanks for coming to see us, Lizzie. Or should I call you Mother?
Mother? She is actually your mother?
That's right, Carrie. You probably know me from my rock star days as Lizzie Borden, but my real name is Elizabeth Lessie. And that means I am your grandmother.
Please don't take this the wrong way, but I only knew one grandmother, and she died only a couple of months ago.
I understand. And I am not trying to replace the grandmother you knew and loved, but ever since I heard about you from Martin last year I've wanted to meet you. He showed me pics of you in your natural state and it is clear we are much alike. Come, walk with me. Feel free to ask me any questions you like.
I really have just one. Why did you quit being a rock star? You were huge for several years and then you were suddenly gone. But even now people remember you and want to be like you. That's why I made myself to look like your teenage self starting when I was 10. I started listening to your records that my mother Jessica had collected from her own teen years. I still love your music.
When I was 19, I got pregnant with your father. The one who got me pregnant was my band's own drummer. And he was married already, so he couldn't commit himself to me without breaking up his marriage. So he chose his wife over me. I was so hurt that I stopped seeing him and just dropped out of the music scene to raise Martin by myself. Anyway, Martin showed me a pic of you that he took back in Texas. Here is a copy of it, saved on my own phone. It's almost exactly like looking at myself in my early 20s. You now look like I did before I had Martin.
Do you think I should change myself again, to look like that?
What I think doesn't matter. What do you want to look like? Do you love yourself just as you are now?
Yes, I do. It's so strange that I only just met you and already I feel closer to you than I ever did to my father.
I always wanted to have a daughter, not a son. And then my son gave me 2 grandsons. You are my granddaughter, Carrie, and that makes you special to me. I hope in time we can love each other. You are like the missing part of my life that is now completing me.
I do love you, grandmother. The death of Mother Jessica's mother left a void in my heart that you have now filled. Thank you.
Well, then how about we hit the beach tomorrow?
Cool. Let's do that. You are so daring to not only go out in a bikini, but it is flesh-colored. From a distance, you look naked.
Ha ha ha. I may be pushing 60, but I am still proud of this body and am quite happy to show it off.
Your grandmother is so cool, Carrie. I wish I had a grandmother like her. Well, no reason we can't share her, right? You and I are like sisters anyway.
Debbie and Carrie have just returned from their vacation in Miami, where Carrie reconnected with her father and met her paternal grandmother for the first time.
Mother, look at what I just got. Oh, that's beautiful. How did you get that ring? Carrie's grandmother got me and Kara matching rings right after she was told that I and Carrie wanted to get married someday. My ring has Carrie's name etched on it and Carrie's has my name too. Oh, a promise ring. Considering she only just met you and you are both still so young, how could she want to spend so much money on promise rings? I, Carrie, and Grandmother Leslie had a long talk about how much Carrie and I are devoted to each other and some details of our history together. And Miss Leslie says she wants to be a grandmother to me too. It's incredible what a loving soul she is. I just wish Carrie and I had met her a decade ago. Now that I know what having a grandmother feels like, I am so happy that I am with Carrie and we went to Miami. Mother, what's wrong? Aren't you happy for me? Of course I am. It's just that you reminded me of my being rejected by my own mother when I came out as atheist, and thus she never had a relationship with you. You never told me much about your mother. Does it hurt that much? Try to imagine how you would feel if you were to become Muslim and I rejected you because of your new religion. My mother's refusal to attend my wedding with your father tore my heart out. My father did come to it, though. But he only came to speak to Rich and me and then left before the ceremony started. What did he want to talk about? Just that he apologized for my mother and wished us the best. Anyway, I came from a large family. I was the youngest of 7 kids, so I guess it was easy for my parents to disown me for marrying an atheist and becoming one myself. But you are my only daughter and James is my only son. I could never disown either of you, even if you joined a cult like the Mormons. Like that would ever happen. No, I am totally committed to being a Unitarian Universalist, and even if I wasn't, I'm not joining any religion that can't prove itself to me. Anyway, your mother is still alive, so maybe you can still reconcile. My father died the month before I gave birth to James. I got a note about it from my mother, but she refused to talk to me at the funeral. And she told me not to bring Rich. Even you being there didn't soften her heart. When your father and I broke up the following year, she sent me a note calling me a fool for ever loving him and demanding I return to Jesus. I ripped that letter to shreds and didn't bother replying. We have had no contact since. Anyway, enough about that. Let's focus on you and Carrie and the future you two will have together. We have 2 or 3 years to save up money to give you the wedding and then the honeymoon of your dreams.
Laura, there has been a change in plans. I've been asked to shoot a music video, and for that you will be paired with another teenage girl who is putting out a song she wrote herself.
A new pop star?
Well, she is not exactly new. Her family just put out their second album, but she also wanted to do a solo project. And there she is.
Hello. I am Suzanne Hudson. Are you the girl I will be appearing with in the video? Wow. I've heard of you and your family. But you are going solo now? Did the Hudson family break up? No, I just wanted to put out my own music that didn't fit with the agenda of the rest of the family. I may go solo permanently in a couple of years, but this is a test to see how successful my solo works may be in the future. Anyway, the song I wrote is a love song about beating the odds and staying with your lover even in the worst of times. And since I am lesbian, I insisted I be paired with another teenage girl to represent my love interest. And let me say how beautiful you look. No need for makeup or costumes, you're just perfect like this. Thank you. Well, I am ready when you are.
Let's get started, then. For this scene, you and Suzanne will walk towards each other to the middle of the bridge and kiss. Are you ready?
Sure.
Everyone take your places now. And action.
La 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 mm. Nihaika.
Good. But let's do several more takes of that scene, since it is the most important one in the video. Everyone ready for take 2? Action.
Oh, you are such a great kisser. You've done this before, haven't you? Indeed, I have. I am myself lesbian and I had a relationship back in Texas before coming here, so this is what I am used to. Then kiss me again, sweetie. More, Laura, I want more.
You two are no longer following the script. Cut.
Damn the script. I want this to be as real as possible. And not just on this set. You mean, you actually want me? I do. Will you be my love partner? We can support each other's careers and walk down red carpets together and make the press notice us. Here's my answer, Suzanne.
Alright, I will just tear up the script and we will use the footage we just got. Teenagers.
While their daughters are making a music video together, Jennifer Park and Maria Hudson are having dinner together.
So where did you and Laura come from?
Texas. Well, Laura was born there, but I came from South Korea. I and Laura's father were both Korean.
Interesting. I came from Iran, but all 3 of my children were born in Los Angeles.
Are you Muslim? I know most Iranians are.
No. I was raised a Ba'i, a religion related to Islam that was founded in the 19th century. My family and I came to America to escape persecution by the Islamic authorities, who insist that no prophet can come after Muhammad, the founder of Islam. To me, that is de facto atheism. If Allah can no longer send messengers, why worship him at all?
So you are a Baha'i. Can you tell me about that religion?
The Baha'i faith was founded by a Persian nobleman known as Baha'u'llah. He said he was bringing a new message to lead humanity into a new age of peace and unity. Unfortunately, I am no longer Baha'i. I left that religion after falling in love with my husband Daniel and learning he was an atheist. Daniel and I then joined a Unitarian Universalist church. But even before I became atheist and knew you, I'd been expelled from the Baha'i community as a so-called covenant breaker for rejecting the authority of the Universal House of Justice, the head of the Baha'i faith.
You were excommunicated? How sad.
Even today, most of my extended family shun me. The original progressive nature of the Baha'i faith has degenerated into a cult where people are unable or unwilling to think for themselves.
Can I join your church? I was a member of a UU church in Texas. The church was Baptist before its members converted to UAism after firing their Baptist minister, and then they replaced him with a UU minister. Then the church was destroyed by arson and had to be rebuilt.
I think I read about that church in our UU World magazine. Do you know a couple of girls named Debbie Smith and Carrie Sims? We've met them.
Yes. My daughter was even Debbie's love partner for a while.
Suzanne, are you done with the video?
Yes, Mother, and I had a great time. Look who I met there. Mother, I hope you and Suzanne's mother will be friends. Because Suzanne and I are already lovers. Wow, that's fast. That just seems unreal.
You'd be amazed at how charismatic Suzanne is. Even though she is lesbian, she gets love letters from teenage boys all the time. Most of which we do not allow her to see because they often have inappropriate content.
I'm hungry. Let's eat, Laura.
Mrs. Park and I are done here, so you can have our table now.
You really don't like to waste time, do you? Nope. When I see something, or someone, good, I go for it with all my might. You are really fun to be with. Well, it looks like you are extremely hungry. And not just for food. Does that scare you? No, it doesn't. I've been craving intimacy ever since my last love partner broke up with me back in Texas. You were dumped. I'm sorry about that. I may be only 15, but I am already seeking a love that could last a lifetime. And you? Same. I even talked about wanting to marry my lover, but she ended up choosing someone else to commit to. It was painful, but I got through it. Laura, unless and until you do something to hurt me, I won't abandon you. It seems we are on the same page, so we can proceed with whatever you want us to do together. Anything? Anything. Then I will tell you exactly what I want from you. So, what do you think? I think we are indeed perfect for each other. This is our first date. And for our second date, you will get what you asked for. You just better be prepared. I can be quite intense. Sounds like a challenge. I'm ready for it. Just give us a bed and a few hours. We will burn it up together.
Sandy Smith has established a thriving law practice in her town. One day, she gets a call from an unexpected person.
Hello, is this Sandy Smith?
Yes. Who is this?
This is Jack Watson, in Tulsa. Last night, a crazed gunman invaded my club here and shot to death 5 of the club patrons. I went to the back of the club, got a pistol, and shot the madman to death.
That means you are a hero. Good work.
Not according to the Tulsa police. I have a felony on my past criminal record, and I was arrested for illegally possessing a firearm. Now those idiots want to send me back to prison. I would like you to defend me.
Don't you have criminal defense attorneys in Tulsa already?
Yes, but I need someone I could trust. Rich defended me at my last trial, and though I was convicted and spent time in prison, He still gave me a solid defense. Even after you and he were divorced, he had high regards for your legal work, so I want you with me as I face this absurd charge.
All right, I will come. So you are going to Tulsa again? Yes. While I am gone, I will ask one of Carrie's mothers to stay with you and James. Jack, tell me what happened.
That night I was doing my usual job as club manager, making sure the other employees were doing their jobs. I was just taking a cash register back to count its money when this guy came in with a gun, and no ordinary gun either. It was a submachine gun, like the military would use. He immediately began shooting people at random, and I heard them screaming and running for their lives. I went to the back of the club and opened the safe where most of the bar's money is kept. And a pistol. I then went out and saw the shooter killing another guy. He wasn't facing me, so I aimed the pistol and fired one shot into the shooter's head and he went down. Then I called the police. When they arrived I gave a statement about what happened. A total of 15 people were shot that night, with 6 fatalities, including the gunman. The next day, the cops returned and arrested me for possessing a firearm. Never mind that I used it to save lives.
So you were previously convicted of a felony. What was that crime?
Drug possession with intent to sell, which I was indeed guilty of, but I fought the charge because I only started drug dealing to pay high medical bills that my mother got after she had surgery to remove a tumor. Rich defended me, but he could not discredit the cop who testified to what I was doing, and so I went to prison. While I was locked up, my mother died by suicide after learning the cancer had somehow returned and I couldn't help her. I have hated the courts and the police ever since.
And were you drug dealing the night of the shooting?
Nope. The club owner forbade me to do that in his club, so I complied with his command. So the cops can't pin that on me.
And who owns the gun that you used to kill the shooter?
It was previously owned by Rich, your ex-husband. He put it in the safe himself. Maybe if he hadn't done that, maybe if he'd had that gun at his house that night, he and his fiancée and her kids were all shot.
Let's not dwell on that. We will be facing the prosecutors in court tomorrow. When I defend you, I will focus on the fact that you were defending the lives of others. And as much as I hate the lack of gun control in this society, I'm going to have to talk like an advocate for the damned NRA.
Your Honor, the case is perfectly straightforward. Jack Watson was convicted of drug dealing 7 years ago and spent 4 years in prison. One of the terms of his parole is that, like all convicted felons, he cannot possess a firearm. This is to limit his ability to commit future crimes. He used a pistol to kill a man last week and should therefore be sent back to prison.
Thank you, Mr. Ankers. Mrs. Smith, make your opening statement.
Your Honor, my client does not deny he had a gun that night, but he wasn't using it to commit a crime. He was using it to defend the lives of his own customers at the club he was responsible for. The man he shot was committing mass murder. Had Mr. Watson not acted so swiftly to stop the shooter, more people would have died, including possibly Jack Watson himself. He should be treated as a hero, not a criminal. It is often said that the best way to stop a bad man with a gun is with a good man with a gun, and that is exactly what this case is really about.
Mr. Ankers, I don't know whether to laugh at the absurdity of this case or to scream at you for bringing it. Do you know what it will look like if we send Mr. Watson to prison for saving lives? Most of the gun owners in this state will be outraged.
The law on the matter is clear, Your Honor.
Sure it is, but you could have offered Mr. Watson a plea deal to dispose of this case, and that's what you should do now. Mr. Watson, if you plead guilty to the charge, I will sentence you to time served in jail, plus a fine of $1,000.
You should take that offer, Jack. The sooner we dispose of this matter, the sooner you may return to work.
Your Honor, I accept the offer. So noted. And Mr. Ankers, don't you dare bring another case like this into my courtroom. As a member of the NRA, this pisses me off. This court is adjourned. So, what do I owe you for defending me today?
Nothing. You already paid the court $1,000. Why put you further into debt?
Thank you. You are most kind.
At least we should make Mrs. Smith a lifetime offer. All drinks we serve her here now and in the future will be on the house.
As you command, Mr. Miller. Mrs. Smith, what will you have?
Just give me an entire bottle of your strongest wine and I will take it back to my motel room. I just had to sell myself out to keep you from prison and I think I need to drown myself in alcohol to soothe the pain, so to speak. I feel like such a hypocrite. This was a fun idea. The last time I went to an amusement park, I went on a roller coaster, and before the end of the ride I got sick and threw up. On myself and James. How old were you then? I was 9. It was so embarrassing. I thought the operators of the ride would force me to clean up the mess, but they just let us go. I never rode on a roller coaster again. Are you feeling sick now? Not at all. I only feel one thing now. A desire to kiss you. The more I am with you, the more certain I become that no one else can mean to me what you do. And yet only a few decades ago, we would have been denied the right to express our love for each other in public. I know. My mothers have been telling me stories of what it was like before the gay rights movement began fighting back at the bigotry against LGBT people like us and them. Debbie, look over there. And who is that? It's that sexist asshole, Ted Wilson. And that hat of his indicates to me he is racist too. I'd like to take that MAGA hat and shove it either down his throat or up his ass. But I am sure you won't. Because you are better than him, right?
What do you mean, I am not allowed to eat here? As the owner of this place, I have the right to refuse service to anyone I wish. And I certainly don't want to serve bigots like you. That hat is to today what a pointed white hood was to people a century ago. Now get out. You will regret this.
Thanks for kicking out that guy. His very presence bothered me.
You are welcome. My grandparents were immigrants from Italy, and if people like that boy had been in charge a century ago, I might not have been born here. Sometimes, to make a more tolerant society, you must actually be intolerant of bigots.
We know exactly how you feel. I am a lesbian and Carrie here is my love partner. People like Ted would hate and want to exclude us too.
Interesting. My parents and grandparents were devout Catholics, and I do recall them being homophobic. Therefore, so was I when I was growing up. But what you just said makes me realize that if I am bigoted against gays and lesbians, then from your point of view I'd be no better than that punk I just kicked out. So I apologize for my earlier attitude.
At least you are willing to reconsider your views and not let yourself be a hypocrite. Too often, people are not so ethical. My heart feels so empty. Just like this house I once shared with Mrs. Sims. I wonder. Hey, Jonathan, can we talk?
Sure, what's going on?
Honestly, when I moved in with your mother, I never thought I'd be running her cat shelter. I like working there, but I don't want to be trapped there. I'm thinking of selling it and leaving Boston.
To go where?
I just don't know. I just know I am not happy here by myself. I feel like I need someone in my life.
I'm sorry, Tara. I've been dating this girl who is a coworker, but she doesn't really impress me much. She doesn't seem to care much for others as deeply as I do. And you do. So, want to go on a date with me? It might help.
Aren't you almost 40? I'm only half your age.
We are still both adults. And you are way more mature than my date who is closer to my age.
Thanks for coming over. Let's eat. A simple hamburger will do.
Can you give us 2 number 1s?
What shall you have to drink?
I will have Sprite or 7-Up.
And I will have apple or orange juice.
So Tara, what do you really want? You clearly are missing something in your life that the cat shelter does not fill.
I guess I just want love. I've been craving that ever since my parents rejected me.
Well, as we said before, you are practically part of the family, but maybe we can see about making it official. Before I moved away from Boston to Rhode Island, I helped Mother with the cat shelter. And I can help you now. I'll just move back here and we can start working together. Would that make you keep the shelter?
It would, but you really don't have to sacrifice your career in banking for me and the cats.
I can get a banking job anywhere. But you are here. And we both need this.
Damn, Lucy was right. You are cute. You really don't look 38. Then again, neither does Jessica, your twin sister. So be it. We are a couple. But are you sure about this?
Tara, just have faith in yourself. I have already seen what a strong and beautiful woman you are. If we are faithful to each other, there is no limit to what we can do.
You should know that I am still a virgin. I never was lucky enough to have a boyfriend in high school. I was a total outcast.
Not anymore. Let's do something to fix that, shall we?
Not so fast. Let us start living together a couple of weeks before we give each other our bodies. Rushing into something like this could lead to disaster.
Your body, your house, your rules. But in any case, I will come here and help you with the cats from now on. I should have made that offer to you at Mother's funeral, but you seem to be okay on your own.
Thanks. I just got a text message from Jonathan. He says he and Tara are now a couple, and he moved back to Boston to help her with the cat shelter.
I didn't think he was her type. She dresses like a punk rocker and he doesn't listen to that kind of music.
His first girlfriend in high school was a self-proclaimed Satanist and my mother thought he was crazy to date her. But they were together for 4 years. Then she moved to Chicago to attend college there and they drifted apart.
Jessica, why would an atheist date a Satanist? I don't see how worshipping Satan as a god is any better than worshipping Jehovah or Allah.
I learned from that girl that Satan is merely a concept to Satanists, not a personal deity, and that concept is rejection of and hatred for Christian authorities.
Why not just be atheist, then?
I'll get that. Why are you here? If it's to gripe at me again about your daughter having birth control.
No, it's not that. That's only a minor problem compared to what has happened. Bella and her boyfriend Eric are both gone. Eric's mother is as worried about him as I am about Bella. I was hoping that maybe Bella told you something.
No, I last saw her a couple of weeks ago. Mrs. Flowers, Bella told me last week she wanted to get out of your household as soon as possible. She said you didn't respect her because you were always invading her privacy and telling her how to live.
As her mother, it is my duty to protect her from making mistakes that could ruin her life.
Well, having sex while using protection is not one of those mistakes. You seem to think there is something evil about having sex in itself, but if that was true, why would God make us male and female to begin with?
That doesn't mean you can just have sex whenever you feel like it. That's why we have marriage.
Sorry, but that doesn't compute. If you never learn to have sex properly before you get married, how the hell can you have a great honeymoon? It's like getting a driver's license without ever having gotten behind the steering wheel of a car. Mother Jessica is right. It is exactly because I am sexually compatible with Debbie that I feel comfortable with the idea that she and I will marry someday. See this?
Is that an engagement ring? You are already about to get married so young?
Once Debbie and I get out of high school, yes. Isn't that what you did, Mrs. Flowers? And do you really mean to tell me that you never had sex with your husband before marriage?
No, we didn't end. Our first time in bed together after our wedding was awful. It took several months before we learned how to truly pleasure each other, but I thought that was normal. That such difficulties were the price one had to pay to remain pure. To put it simply, Mrs. Flowers, purity is for suckers. I can assure you that your first year of marriage would have been a lot happier had you and your husband felt free to experiment with each other's bodies before you walked down the aisle together. That's why my marriage with Jessica was such a success from the start. And why Carrie and Debbie will also have a great marriage too. You may be right, but that still does not solve my problem. Where the hell is my daughter?
How long before we reach your uncle in Kansas?
It will take all day and perhaps part of the night. Just relax. I will keep driving until sunset and then you can take over so I can sleep in the back.
I'm so excited. A new life for us.
Bella Flowers has run away from her home in Texas with her boyfriend, Eric Sterling. After driving for many hours, they arrive at a small cave outside a town in rural Kansas, which is the home of Eric's uncle.
Mr. Sterling, you think we can actually live here?
Why not? I have lived here for 30 years and only occasionally go into the town. Our ancestors in the Ice Age had to live like this all their lives. If they did it, so can you.
I was not expecting this. I thought when you said your uncle lived in a man cave, you weren't speaking literally. Are we really going to share this place with him? There is no privacy here.
He told me he will sleep near the mouth of the cave and we can sleep together in the back. But we will have to adapt to life here, just as he did. Do you still regret coming here? As long as we are here, we can do what we want and when we want, not what our mothers want.
Yep, that's why I started living here after I discovered this cave in my teens. I am happy here. No bills or taxes to pay, no having to answer to others, just the bliss of solitude.
But I am starting to miss my mother. Sooner or later, we should contact her to at least let her know I am all right.
I have a friend who allows me to use his phone to make calls. I will give you directions to his house on the nearby farm. He even allows me to do work on his farm in exchange for food. He can offer you jobs too.
Mother, this is Bella.
Bella, where are you? I've been so worried about you.
Mother, Eric and I are fine. I can't tell you where we are, but I am happy here.
Bella, please come back. I'm sorry for the way I treated you. If you and Eric return, I won't be so judgmental towards you and him anymore. Please. I miss you.
I'm afraid it is too late. I am used to life here and Eric and I are determined to make a home here. Goodbye.
Bella, I have been living in this cave for 30 years and never shared it with a woman before. I've never shared my body with a woman before either. Let's have sex tonight.
Absolutely not. I am Eric's girlfriend. You should find your own.
No woman has been willing to share this cave with me before. You are the first. Eric, why don't you share Bella with me? Otherwise, why should I let you stay here?
Is that why you invited us here? You were hoping to take advantage of my girlfriend? She is only 16 and you are almost 50, you pervert. And together the two angry teens beat Eric's uncle until he is unconscious. Then they leave the cave and return to Texas.
Mother, I'm sorry. It was Eric's uncle who offered us his cave in Kansas, but he then demanded sex with me in order to stay with him. Eric and I refused that. We fought the man off together and now we have returned. Whatever punishment you want to inflict on me I will accept. Just please take me back.
No, honey, I won't punish you. You are just like the prodigal son in the parable of Jesus, so like the father in that story I welcome you with open arms. Eric, thank you for returning my daughter and protecting her from your own uncle. I forgive you and if you want to continue dating Bella, I will allow it. Just don't run away again.
Yes, Mrs. Flowers. Bella is everything to me and I wasn't going to let my uncle rape her. The moment I heard her say no to him, I stood up for her because I love her.
Good morning, class. Today I will have you begin a special project. You will do a science task that may involve writing a detailed report on a current issue like climate change, a historical issue like how the first vaccines were developed, or invent something useful. You will all be graded on your projects, and the creator of the project judged to be the best will be awarded a free trip to New York City to attend the Summer Science and Technology Conference scheduled there in July.
Wow!
Looks like we could earn ourselves another summer vacation.
What do you think we should do? I'm only taking this course for the credits. I'm not a hardcore science geek like you, James.
Well, I know someone who is. I will ask her for advice.
You want us to build a robot?
One that can be programmed to do household chores. My mother hates doing them, and she instead often makes me and Debbie do them. But I hate them too.
Okay, you can go to a computer store and buy some of the parts we need. So these are the parts we need to build a robot? Some of these things cost hundreds of dollars, James.
We can afford them. Mother loaned me her credit card and said it would be worth it to have a helper around the house. Carrie and I have already designed the robot's body. We just need to build it.
Speaking of Carrie, how do you feel about her someday being my wife? You really haven't said anything about it.
What else is there to say other than congratulations? And I am happy for you. Though when I first met her, she didn't really strike me as a type to marry you. In some ways you are opposites. You are very passive and polite to everyone. Carrie is known to pick fights with people who piss her off. I heard about her beating the crap out of Ted Wilson several months ago and thought she would be kicked out of school over it, but nothing happened to her.
Ted was sexually assaulting girls. He had to be stopped.
I wish you had said something to me about it. I would have gone after him myself.
James, you only weigh 100 pounds. Ted is twice your size and is on the football team. He would have put you in hospital.
And yet Carrie went after him?
Carrie is so tough she doesn't care if she gets beaten up, or jailed, or anything else as long as she gets revenge on someone. You should have seen the fight she had almost 3 years ago with Laura Park. Laura used her karate on Carrie, and as a result Carrie was so bruised and battered she had to go to the nurse's office for treatment. But Carrie still landed some hard punches on Laura. But neither girl would talk about it, because it was Laura who threw the first punch. After that, they never fought again.
And yet you became Laura's love partner later. If I'd been Carrie, I would have considered you disloyal to me over that.
Laura changed, James. And she said she was in love with me. Carrie had no problem with it, so it was all good. Now let's get those parts.
I think we are done. You may pull the switch to activate it.
Here we go.
I am yours to command, Master.
Robot, I am James. And this is Carrie.
And I am Debbie. We are your creators.
Basic household tasks have been programmed into me. At your command, I will do them.
Robot, I am Sandy Smith, the head of this household. You will take orders from me. Wash these dishes and then mop the floor.
As you command, Sandy Smith.
Wow. I was expecting a poor job, but the dishes are all clean and so is the floor. Well done, Robot.
See, I knew what I was doing. And when I win that science competition, we will go on another vacation. I have finished reviewing all the science projects submitted to me, and the time has come to pick the winner. And the winner is James Smith, Debbie Smith, and Carrie Sims for creating a household cleaning robot. Awesome. I knew we could do it. James Smith, I want you, Carrie Sims, and Debbie Smith to see me in my office. James, the demonstration you gave with the robot in the cafeteria was amazing. I'd like to make you an offer. I want to buy the robot from you for $1,000, and then it will serve the school as its custodian from now on.
Wow!
That's way more money than we spent to make the robot.
James, do not accept his offer. If the robot becomes a new custodian, then the human custodians serving the school now will lose their jobs. That's not fair to them. Also, you told our mother you made that robot to do our household chores. She will be disappointed if you don't return with the robot to do those chores tonight.
Yes, you are both right. I'm sorry, Mr. Hernandez, but I will turn down your offer. We don't need the money, and I don't want to see others hurt because of something I made. Very well. Once again, you girls have amazed me. If you were to run for public offices in the future, you would be the worst nightmare for the Republicans that still dominate this state.
Master, my hands seem to be malfunctioning. I broke 3 glasses while washing dishes earlier.
The rubber gloves made to protect your hands from the water in the sink must be hindering your sense of touch. That means you cannot be used to wash dishes.
James, it was never a good idea to have a machine made of wires and metal in contact with soap and water. Have the robot reprogrammed to guard our home 24/7.
Yes, Mother. Robot, your reprogramming is completed. So every evening, you will keep watch outside to prevent intruders from breaking into our home.
Yes, Master.
So will the robot be in the front yard or the backyard?
He can spend an hour in each yard, moving back and forth between them.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert. You do not belong here.
Excuse me? I am here to deliver the mail. Robot, postal workers are not intruders. After he puts the mail in the mailbox, bring the mail to me. James, I am concerned the robot might harm someone who comes to visit us, like a postal worker or a salesperson. He cannot distinguish between actual intruders and new visitors. We could be sued over such an incident, so to prevent it, I think you should deactivate and dismantle the robot.
Are you sure? He is only a few weeks old and I'm sure he needs time.
Intruder alert. Intruder alert.
Help. I'm being attacked. Carla, are you all right? I am now. Isn't that the robot James built? Yes, but his performances lately have been troublesome. I won't risk him hurting anyone. James, you will have to dismantle the robot. You can recycle the metal and electronic parts later. That's an order.
It has already been done.
Wow. This automated system really works. I love being able to go places by myself in a car now.
You will arrive at your destination in 1 minute.
Thank you.
That will be $7.30. Please pay with a credit or debit card now.
So you used one of the new driverless cabs. How does it work? You just enter the cab and type in the address you want to go to and the cab does the rest. Carrie, you might want to reconsider using one of those cabs. One of my friends was a cab driver and got laid off when he was replaced by the automated computer systems that are being installed in cabs now. Now he can't pay his bills and he and his family are worried. I had not considered that. But if all cab drivers get replaced, we may not have a choice. That's why when I go to the grocery store, I never use the self-checkout booths, but go to be checked out by a human. Even if I have to wait longer, I am happy knowing I keep a person employed. So you wouldn't mind driving me back to my own house later this evening? Not at all. Just let me know when you are ready to go home.
This miniseries of the Debbie and Carrie Show is a throwback to the time in the third season of the show when the girls were engaged but not yet married and were still in high school.
Thanks for agreeing to walk with me home from school. After being harassed by Ted Wilson one too many times, I'd rather walk with you each day than ever ride the school bus with him again. No problem. You know how much I adore your company. I am happy to be your bodyguard.
And walking right behind Debbie and Carrie are.
I just hope this doesn't become a habit. We shouldn't have to refuse to take the bus just because Ted Wilson is on it.
Yeah. Why not make him walk instead?
Because his father is a big shot in this town. The Wilson family has dominated it for most of the town's history. So Ted thinks he can rule over us just like his father does many of the adults here.
And who the hell elected either of them? James, Carrie and I will be stopping at the diner up ahead to eat. Want to join us?
Penny?
No, let's just go home. I don't have any cash to eat with.
Penny says no. We will proceed to her house.
I'm sorry, but it seems I don't have enough money to pay for my meal. I guess I will just leave and not eat here.
So I made that hamburger for nothing? You should never order a meal here before you count your money.
Excuse me, but I have a credit card. I'll pay for the old woman's meal.
All right, hand me your card.
Thank you, young lady. But the restaurant owner is right, I do have to keep better track of my money. My son Michael is the sole source of income for my household since I injured my back a few months ago and I lost my last job.
You shouldn't be thrown out of work because of an injury. Debbie is right. And what job does your son work at?
He works as a waiter at the Tuscany Tavern.
So your son is Michael Jefferson? I was his co-worker for a short time. Yeah, because she thought your son was hot and wanted to hook up with him, only to learn later he was gay. Debbie, you embarrass me.
Somehow, that makes me feel good, to know I have such a lovely son that girl's as cute as you would want him. He is indeed my pride and joy. If you ever have a son of your own, you will know what I mean.
Mother Lucy, would you consider hiring Michael Jefferson's mother to work for you at the Tuscany Tavern? She has almost no money because she became unemployed due to an injury. She can work again, but she has not yet found a job.
Jobs do tend to be scarce in a small town like this. Has she worked in a restaurant before?
Yes, she used to be a manager at a McDonald's in Dallas before moving here. Until the restaurant was burned down one night. Arson.
I am willing to hire her, but the final approval for the hiring will be that of the owner, Debbie's mother.
So why not have Mrs. Jefferson work for the Tuscany Tavern? You hired Mrs. Bentley and she turned out to be awesome at cooking. Debbie, I can't just hire anyone off the street to work for me. Michael may not want to work beside his mother, since they have to live together too. And Mrs. Jefferson would have to prove she can be an asset to the restaurant. Well, why not try to find out? Mrs. Jefferson, are you willing to do work at the Tuscany Tavern? Your son is a good employee in my place, so I'm hoping you could be one too.
What positions are open there now?
Last time I looked, the restaurant needed another member of the cleaning crew. So you would be wiping down tables, cleaning the restrooms, sweeping and mopping the floors and washing the dishes.
I will take it, and thank you.
You will report to Lucy tomorrow and she will have you fill out an application. And good luck.
Carrie has drawn up a petition regarding Ted Wilson and has brought it to school.
Mr. Bentley, I hope you will sign this petition to have Ted Wilson banned from riding the school buses. Penny has been refusing to take the buses and instead has been walking home to avoid Ted Wilson.
So that's why she came home so late yesterday and was so tired. That's not fair to her. Yes, I will sign the petition. And good luck.
Ted, you are late. Now go sit down so I can start my lecture.
Yes, uncle. And much to James' annoyance, Ted takes the seat right next to that of James. And what are you looking at?
Nothing.
You don't call me nothing, you wimp. You piss me off. I can break you in half.
Sorry. Now you will take the astronomy test. There will be 100 questions, and you must answer at least 70 of them to pass.
Hey, you are the best of my uncle's students. So will you share your answers with me?
You want me to help you cheat? I don't think so.
Oh, I do think so. If you don't, I just might hunt you down after school and give you a ton of pain. James then remembers when Ted Wilson beat his sister years earlier. Debbie, we need to tell Mother what happened.
No, don't. I already tried to talk to the principal about it and he refused to help me. He said it was my word against Ted Wilson's and Ted denied doing anything wrong. And I don't want to be beaten again.
James now removes his glasses and puts them in his pocket.
This is my answer, asshole.
So you are hiring my mother to be a cleaner?
That's right, I hope that is acceptable.
Yes! That's why I am proud to be here. You saw my mother's need and reached out to her. She was too timid to just come here and ask for employment here herself. Thank you!
So you don't mind me being here with you?
Why would I? You are my mother, the woman I love more than any other. The moment I don't want you around is the moment I don't deserve to live.
Well, I don't plan to stay here long. Only to make some extra money to get us out of debt. I will also keep looking for other jobs.
James, I was told that you picked a fight with Ted Wilson in science class. I warned you not to do that.
Debbie, he beat you up years ago, he has abused others, and Carrie stood up to him and gave him what he deserved. He was trying to get me to help him cheat on a science test. So I slugged him right in front of his uncle. I like Mr. Wilson as a science teacher, but I decided if he let his nephew cheat in class and beat me up, he was no better than Ted. And that is why I have ordered Simon Wilson to expel his nephew from his class. Nepotism is not a good thing. Mr. Wilson turned out to have way more integrity than I thought. As soon as he realized what was happening, he grabbed Ted and dragged him into the hallway before Ted could badly hurt me. Because you disrupted my class today, you will stay here until the end of the school day, and you will never return to my classroom.
But James threw the first punch. Why isn't he being punished too?
He will be punished, but you were the aggressor, not him. I know you too well, Ted. You got punched because you were trying to bully him, but you can only go so far and pick on so many people before it backfires on you. James, I want you to write a 2,000-word essay on the origin and evolution of life on Earth. It will be due in 2 weeks. If you do this, I will accept the paper in lieu of detention, and your record will be wiped clean. That's the same offer I made 2 years ago to your sister and Carrie. I trust you will find this project useful to you? Yes, sir. I will do it.
One day, Sandy gets a letter from her eldest brother. As she starts to read it,
Come on, Jessica. Lucy. Carrie. One of you, pick up. Hello, Sandy? Jessica, can I please come see you and Lucy? It's about my mother. I want to talk to someone about her. And definitely not Debbie or James. I think. Maybe you two can understand my situation better. Sure, come on over.
So what happened with your mother, Sandy?
I have had no contact with her since James was born, but one of my brothers would occasionally write letters to me about her and other family members. Today I got one last letter about Mother. She is in hospice back in Oklahoma City, suffering from pneumonia. She has been given a couple of weeks to live. Sandy, we are so sorry. Since Lucy and I both also lost our mothers, we can relate, of course. That's why I came here. I hope I am not imposing, but all I feel like doing is crying on someone's shoulder. I wish I could talk to my mother one last time.
Sandy, I know exactly how you feel. I've been there. Come to me.
Mrs. Smith, what's wrong? Did something happen to Debbie or James? No, they're fine. But my mother is dying now. So where's Debbie? Does she not know yet? I didn't think to tell her before coming here to talk with your mothers. Actually, Debbie is the first person you should have told about this. Your mother is also her grandmother. You are right, of course. I will tell her after I return home. And can you take me with you? What did my uncle say about grandmother? She's been chronically ill for a long time and it looks like she is about to pass away. I want to see her one last time. My mother Lucy and I tried that with my black grandmother, and we didn't see her because we were rejected. You and Debbie don't need to endure that. I agree. Unless your mother asks to see you, I'd not bother. Just stay home with us. Dear Samuel, I'm sorry about what is happening to our mother, but I haven't forgotten how she rejected me for marrying Rich. Her doing that hurt me very deeply and to this day she has not apologized for that. Until I hear from her directly, I will assume she does not want to see me.
You are not the only one who refuses to see or forgive our mother. It seems your rejection of our religion started a trend. More than half of your nephews and nieces, including one of my own kids, Jason, has rejected the religion they were brought up in. And all of them mention you as one of their reasons.
Obviously, if you treat people like shit and use your religion as an excuse, you are going to drive people away from your faith. I am amazed at how well we get along, considering how different we are.
We only look different. Inside we are much more alike. You even turned me on to sun worship, now that you explained it to me. It is the only form of worship that makes any sense.
Do you still want to go to bed with me?
Only when you are ready. I don't mind waiting.
Actually, I don't want to wait any longer. And I want to do more than just sleep with you. Are you wanting to get married and start a family?
Yes, but every other woman I dated eventually moves on to someone else after a year or so. Or they eventually say they don't want to commit. Or cheat on me. The only women that have always been there to support me were my mother and my sister. And mother has died and Jessica is in Texas.
Then let's not waste any more time. I am now willing to marry you this summer. I want to be an actual part of the Sims family. I belong with you.
I accept. Let's celebrate by giving you a makeover befitting a bride. To a fashion shop we go.
So many beautiful outfits. Oh, here's one that seems perfect for me. What do you think?
You look great. Let me pay for these items, and then we'll tell my sister the happy news.